Welcome to TARCTalks, a series of presentations on topics of interest to the amateur radio community. In this presentation, recorded on June 15th, 2020, Lu Romero, W4LT, discusses our new Flex 6400 radio, recently purchased by the Tampa Amateur Radio Club. If you found this presentation interesting, please visit our website at www.hamclub.org. If you're a licensed radio amateur, you can also join our club for the small fee of $35 per year.
So anyway, welcome to the presentation. My name is Lou. My call sign's W4 Lima Tango. And I'm the ringleader of getting the Flex 6400 system up and running at the clubhouse. Now, what do we have here? So we'll show you real quick what Flex Radio is. And we'll just go here on the web, go to flexradio.com, and this is their website. And that's what we have right here, except ours doesn't have a front panel. Ours basically looks like this. Let's see, Flex 6400. We have a Flex 6400 transceiver, and it looks like, coming up here, oh, there's no picture of it. Anyway, it looks like this one here. Let's see. Maestro. No, that's just the Maestro. It's coming. Tell me another picture. They're hiring. Oh, my God. Anyway, it looks like a box that doesn't have a front panel, basically. This is their amplifier, but it looks like a box that doesn't have the front panel. Oh, they want me to accept the privacy policy. Sure. I'll accept the privacy policy. Accept it. Beautiful. Go on, accept. There you go. Products. Like 6400. And ours is that's it. That's what ours looks like right there. Ours is a 6400 regular, not the M. So basically it's just a box. And what's inside is think of it as an RF printer. If you understand how computers work and all that kind of stuff, it's like a printer for a radio. And all the brains and all that stuff run on your own computer. That's why it's software defined. You know, people can change the guys can write software for it and change the software and make it better and change things on the fly. And all this does is interpret the stuff that's in your computer to transmit over the radio, of course. And then there's different options that comes with it, and you can actually run it on a laptop, or you can run it on a tablet or on your home computer. The idea is that anywhere you are, where you have a computer and access to the internet, you got access to your radio. And that's the beauty of it. Is you can see you can run it from any device. You can run it from a cell phone, actually. I have the application on a cell phone. And it works really good on the cell phone, although the screen is very small, so it's difficult to deal with. And I also have the Maestro thing, which is like the front panel of the radio. Only separately, not connected to the radio. It will look like this, and this is the box we have, and then I have this box right here that looks just like that. So that's the Flex 6400 transceiver. So let's close this. Oh, and remember this website, you're going to need it to go to download the software. So anyway, how you download the software, first thing you have to do is you come over to our software right here and open SSDR for Windows. Smart SDR is the name of it. Depends on your computer. An i5 computer is recommended. I've run it on an i3. I've run it on an Atom, for God's sakes. It runs okay on an Atom computer. And the one that we have is the one we need is this one, version 3.1.12. So you would download that by clicking on here and running it and installing it on your own computer, and that gives you partial access to the radio. That if it was on your own network, you could use it as is. But we have to use a thing called SmartLink to connect over the internet, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So anyway, that's what you need to download from the Flex website. Of course, there's support over here. There's all the manuals that you'll ever need over here. The downloads are set up here. Help desk, which you probably won't need or wouldn't go to because it's only registered to one person at the club. And the learning center. The learning center is really nice. Before you really get into operating the radio, this learning center is real good because it's got videos about, you know, how to use the radio, what the radio does, how it works, et cetera, et cetera. So I recommend that before you start messing around with this thing, you go to this and watch some of the videos so that you can get a good understanding of what it is that you're going to do. So that's a recommendation from my standpoint. So let's close this website, having pretended that we downloaded Smart SDR. Let's see, which one would it be? It would be this one here. I don't want to close the whole thing yet. There we go. All right, so now the next thing you'll have to do is we have a Green Heron Everywhere server at the clubhouse. And what that does is it allows you to control the antenna switch, and it allows you to control the rotors and move them around remotely. And for that, you need to go to the Green Heron Engineering website. So we'll go there and show you what you need to download there. So we go over here and just type in Green Heron Engineering. Here it is, Green Heron Engineering. We go there. Okay. Off we go to Green Heron Engineering. Come on. Go. It's waiting. Bum, bum, bum. Why aren't you going there? Because it's Bing, that's why. There we go. It took a little while. So let's see Green Heron Engineering software page. We have our rotors have a RT21, which is the box that we use to turn our rotors. And that's going to be interfaced to our Green Heron Everywhere server, which is sitting at the clubhouse next to the radio. So in order to download their software, and by the way, all the software is free. You just download it and install it, and then we'll get you ways to get into it. So you go over here to the Green Heron Everywhere and go to Software. Once you go there, this is the one we want. We're in Green Heron Everywhere software version 2.7.4. This is the last one, the newest one. And you need what it will do is it will download the server part, which is running at the clubhouse, and also download the client. You only need the client. You don't need to load up the server. So ignore that there's a server with it and just download the client. It also comes with a manual and in a PDF, so you can read the release notes and the manual on the PDF, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the one you're going to need to download. Once you have that, once you have Smart SDR and you have the Green Heron Everywhere platform on the computer, you're ready to go. So let's get started. What we want to do here, first of all, is I'm just going to show you a big overview of it, and personally I'll get with people who are going to use this thing, either myself or Joe Botto or one of the administrators, and we'll help you guide through loading up the software for the first time, because you have to load up SmartLink, and you got to connect it with SmartLink and all that stuff. But once you do it once, you don't need to do it again, because the machine remembers what's going on. So first of all, the first thing you need to do before you do anything is you have to come on over here and you have to open a web browser. We'll click on the web browser, and we will be, I'm giving you a preview of things to come here. So let me just close this stuff. We'll do it. Whatever. You go to this web. See up here, you see 4428.248.10:8086. That is the switch that turns the power supplies on and the radio on and the antenna switching on. Normally we would have it off. So you'd have to log into that, and we'll give you the credentials for it. So the credentials for this one are Flex User, and there's a password, and we're going to password protect these in just a little bit. Oh, there it went away. So let's try it again. And open that browser page. And this is it. This is our power switch. Up on the wall, we have a power switch that's connected to the internet that you can turn things on and off. As a user, for now, you're only going to need these two: Flex front panel power switch and a 6x1 antenna switch. Notice that up here it says what it is. It's the TARCTalks Remote Power Control website. So now you go over here, and to start off, you'll find them in off. If you find them in on, that means somebody's using the radio. Make sure you remember that, because they're both off. That means that nobody's using the radio, and you get to start it off. So the first thing you do is you turn the antenna switch on. Click on the antenna switch on, and watch what happens. It comes on. See? Now it's on. And then I go over here, and I'm going to turn the front panel of the radio on. I'm pressing, basically through the internet, I'm pressing the front panel of the radio. There's an on-off button on the front panel of the radio, and I'm pressing it through the internet. So here we go. And there you go. So now I've got the antenna switch, which is here, it's on, and I've got the radio, which is on. That takes about a minute for the radio to boot up from just the power supply on. We never really turn the power supply off. The 12 volt stays on the rig. We only turn the front panel of the rig off. So now that's ready. Now you don't need this again, so I'll just basically just minimize it. The next thing we want to do is we want to open Green Heron Everywhere client. And here's the Green Heron Everywhere client on my desktop. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the antenna switch, and it's going to open the rotor controller. So we double click on that. And since in my computer it's on another monitor, I'll have to switch to another monitor. There you go. Come on, there it goes. And it always does this, and I don't know why. It just does. So you just hit yes. All right, and the client is loading. And now, if I would switch to the second monitor, you'll see that this opens up. Now, this clock is running on my computer, so ignore that. That's something that I have on one of my screens. But it opens this. Here's our antenna switch right here. As you can see, the 80-meter OCF sloper is on. The 10-meter feed for the C31 is here. The 15-meter feed for the C31 is here. The 20-meter feed for the C31 is here. And the 40-meter two-element beam is here. And a dummy load. You shall find it, you're supposed to be finding it this way. The antenna is pointed north, should be somewhere around 1 degree, 2 degrees, or whatever, and the dummy load should be on, and these switches here will be off. Now, when you first get started doing this thing, we'll talk to you and we'll talk you into how to configure this, because each client can be set up differently. Like I can have a bigger screen, I can make this bigger or smaller, or change the font size or whatever. Same thing with this here, make the compass rose bigger and smaller or whatever. But this is the size that I normally have it at my station. Eventually here, whenever I figure out how to do it, we're going to replace this compass rose with a projection of the world centered on Tampa. That way, when you want to go to Japan, instead of remembering that Japan is at 328 degrees, you just click on Japan and the antenna goes there. When you want to talk to Bulgaria, instead of going to 62 degrees, you just click on Bulgaria and the antenna goes there. So that's how it'll work. So this is the way it comes up, and this is the way it starts. What we want to do is move the antenna. Now remember, our back tower antenna stops on north. Everybody else's antenna on the face of the planet stops on south here in the northern hemisphere, but ours happens to stop on north. So you can't go from here to here this way. You have to go from here to here, around here. So what we're going to do is let's just move the antenna before we even connect to it. Let's move the antenna to 300 degrees, which is kind of like the middle of the country. So I just grab that green thing. See what I did? Just take the green thing, and you just grab it by holding down your left mouse button and just turn it to where you want it to go. And once you get it to where you want it to go, you let it go. And the antenna will turn there. There it goes. The other thing you can do, oh, by the way, this green thing, it shows you the beam width of the antenna. And it'll be a little bit more accurate later. Right now, it's not completely accurate. You'll notice that it's changing here as well. And you can actually dial in the number that you want it to go and hit turn, and it'll do it and go to it. Now, I always keep this one up as well, because then you need to stop it for any reason. You can click on stop, because there's no stop here. So there it goes. The antenna is just turning, and we'll just watch it go. And on its own, it'll stop where it needs to stop at 315 degrees. Now we're going down through 180 to South America. We're going through South Pacific here, coming up soon. South Pacific about there, Australia about there, and we're approaching there's China probably around there, and Southeast Asia, and we'll be coming up to 315 degrees here pretty soon, which is in the general direction of of Japan. So now we're going to stop it. It'll slow down a little bit. 315. Sometimes it overshoots by 1 degree and undershoots by 1 degree. So don't pay too much attention. As long as where you want to talk is inside the span, you're good. So now we've got an antenna turned. So now let's turn on the radio. That's what we want to do. So let's go to my first screen, which is where we have the radio. So remember, this is on the second screen. I've got two. There you go. Go away. I've got 3 screens on my computer. I have nothing on here, but you'll see something later that I'll put on here. And my second screen to my right has this on it, and my main screen has this on it. So I kind of recommend that you have 2 screens to operate this SDR, because the radio itself is going to take this whole first screen, and you'll see that in just a minute. So now we're going to open up the radio, and we're going to find Smart SDR, which is right here, and we're going to double click on it, and that's going to open the radio. It's also going to open up the CAT system, which is the connection to the computer, and it's going to open up the DAC system, which is the audio transferring from the computer. So here we go. We've got, let's see, we've got what? We've got CAT, we get DACs up. It'll look kind of like this when it comes up. Actually, it'll look like 3 of these, and this won't be in there. As you can see, if I hover over it, there's the radio. There's the MAC address of the radio. It says it's got a legal license. It tells you that, you know, what SmartLink is configured, and the radio firmware and all that stuff on it on the left-hand side. You're going to have to open some ports on your router, and we'll go over that with you when you get active for this in the next couple weeks. So anyway, when you originally come up and the radio's not ready and it's not booted up, it's going to tell you no radios are available. And just wait a little while, and when the radio boots up, it has to talk to a server in Dallas, Texas, and then the server has to talk to your computer, and then this will come up like here. We only have 1 radio, so you're only going to see this. And this thing remembers, as you can see right here, auto connect to SmartLink. So once we set you up with SmartLink, you never have to worry about that. You just click on it and away you go. And on start up, connect to the last radio. You may want to turn that on. If you don't care about having to load all these things separately. So now we're going to load this, and I'm going to move these off to my other screen. So let me just, actually I'm going to minimize them. Let's just minimize them, and we'll worry about these later. Show you how that works. Now we're going to open the radio, and here we go. Just click on connect, and suddenly you have a radio. If somebody, can you guys hear the hiss in my voice here? Because I can't give you audio through the network, so hopefully you'll hear the hiss. If not, don't worry about it. We'll just use the video part of it. This is what the radio looks like. This is a radio running on your particular computer at your house, running quite well. In order to tune, you just grab it by here, and that's how you tune. Notice that the frequency is changing. See it? It's on 40 meters. It's changing. Okay. To change bands, you go over here to the band panel, click on band, and here's your bands here. So like right now we're on 40 meters. We want to show the 20 meters. We click on 20, and notice it changes. It also changes to upper sideband. See that? Now we're in upper sideband. Let's go back to 40, and you'll notice it'll automatically change to lower sideband, because that's what I used the last time I was on these bands. It remembers the last setting of the band. Over here on the right-hand side is the control panel for all the stuff that's on the radio. First of all, PC audio. You see this here? This needs to be lit, and you need to assign the headset, your speakers, your computer speakers. As you can see right there, you can probably read it, but it says that this is what is connected to this. If I click on this and it's off, you won't hear any audio. So this has to be on, and then you adjust the level of the audio here. It gets louder and softer. I hope you're hearing that. All right. You can adjust your output power here. Don't worry about it. Just leave it on 100 watts. You don't have to really need to adjust power. The tune power is here. We're set up to tune at 10 watts when we tune our transmatch. Just leave this at default all the time. That's the profile for recording, and we'll talk more about recording when we get recording the profiles when we get later. So don't worry about that. Here's your audio meter, and like I say, I'm talking into the microphone. As I talk into the microphone, you'll see that you can see the meter rise and fall. That's a choice that you make when you store this microphone. You can store it without this moving on receive, or you can store it with it moving on receive. I like to have it on in receive so that I can adjust the mic level without going on the air. So anyway, that's how that works. And this is a compression meter down here. For contest audio or for decent audio, let me be very honest with you. You really need to buy a Yamaha CM500 headset. They're $55 bucks. You can get them down at Sam Ash down on Dale Mabry, or you can order them from the internet. Great little headset, and it just works so well with this rig. But if you have one of these, as you can see, we've got all kinds of different mic profiles here for all kinds of different microphones that you can use with this transceiver. But since you're only going to use something through your computer and not local to your transmitter, it's always better to either use a Heil headset or a IC element that you use on ICOMs, or this Yamaha headset. And the Yamaha headset just works so well. And you just basically recall my settings. And to recall a setting, you just click on it, and it will recall it to here. The other thing you'll need to remember is that this has to be on PC. You can see microphone is the Maestro microphone. Accessory is a plug in the back of the radio that's sitting at the clubhouse, and I'm at my house. And PC is the microphone local to my computer. So you can see I can change it, and when I change it, the audio will stop. See, it stops because I don't have a microphone connected. So now I'm going to go over to mic and click on it. Mic. Oh, PC, I'm sorry. I'm used to doing it with Maestro. PC, and there's the PC level. So that's the one that you want. So now I've got my my headset from my CM500 headsets connected, and we've got audio in my headset, and I can hear things and I can modulate. This is the mic level right here. As you can see, I can vary it from nothing to really, really high. About here, about 60-ish is where it works well with the a CM500. Now, a lot of you purists don't like heavy-duty processing. Well, this radio has look-ahead processing, which means that the processor looks at the audio waveform and fixes all the bad stuff before it transmits. So there's no harm in putting it on DX+. That's how you would use the most power that you can use on the transmitter. Just put it on DX+. Make sure these two are turned off, accessory and DAX. You don't need them for this application. And make sure your monitor is turned off, because if you turn the monitor on, what happens is you hear yourself about a second and a half late, and it drives you absolutely bonkers. So make sure that's turned off. So that's how you deal with microphones, et cetera, et cetera. We'll deal with this in just a second. AM carrier, it doesn't really matter because you're not using AM, but you can set it anyway. You just leave it like that. Make sure you don't use VOX. VOX is too slow to use over the internet. It just doesn't work well. So I recommend that you have one of those KM4 SQS pickles that will show you how to make. Either make your own, or you can have somebody make one for you. The delay is the delay that's used in keying for CW, so don't worry about that delay. It's a Vox delay. So that's right there. And this is a transmit filter for field day and for regular, ham radio use. I recommend 200 as the low cut and 3050 for the high cut. And the filters on this radio are razor sharp. They're like a brick wall. When you get below 200 does not exist, above 3050 does not exist. Trust me, these things are unbelievably sharp. This right here is basically a repetition of what they call the flag. And this is what they call the flag, the frequency flag here. So this is just the same thing. You basically could turn it off if you wanted to. And you can adjust your filtering down here, your receive filter, etc. You can turn on RIP or XIP, which I don't recommend you do. And you can turn on your noise blanker. Noise blanker on this is pretty amazing. When you click it, things like motorcycle spark plug gaps just don't go away completely. The noise reduction is over here, which is another unbelievably good working system. When you click on it, it turns on the noise reduction. Blue means it's on. And as you can hear, it gets really quiet. And you can adjust the level of the noise reduction by coming over here and clicking on DSP. And you see here's the noise reduction, the noise blanker, and ANF, which is automatic notch filter. So if you turn automatic notch filter off and somebody throws a carrier right in here, it'll get rid of it for you. That's something I just leave off, and most of the time I run with the noise reduction turned on to about 20. That seems to be good for my ear. And down below here, you'll see the equalizer. This is the transmit. You see TX. It's the transmit equalizer that's set up for this headset for my voice. And if I want to have an equalization on the receiver, I click on that, and now right now it's off, so it's flat. So if I wanted to accentuate 500 to 2 kilohertz right here, I would set that curve like that, and then when I hit on, it changes the audio to accentuate that frequency there. And like I say, this is client-based, so each one of you can have whatever you guys want. And when you log into it, the radio does what you tell it to do, because this panel here is your radio, and it sits at home. So let me just turn that equalizer off because I don't like it. I like to hear it flat, and I'll just go back to transmit. These can be turned off, as you can see. If you don't need them, you can turn them off by clicking the little button right up here, and that turns them off. I recommend you just leave the transmit one on if you don't care about most of that stuff, but I like to turn them on and have them there so I can view what's going on with the rig, and I really don't need the equalizer. So I leave that alone. Now, if you don't like how these are all docked, see that little arrow there? You click that little arrow, and then that thing disappears. So, gee, where did it go? Well, it went back here. So you can undock it and like move this to another monitor, whatever you want. So we're going to dock it again by clicking that, and then bringing it Smart SDR back up. There it is right here. And there it is. And there it's back. See? What else can I tell you? We told you about switching bands, etc. So now we have the radio, and we're on the, as you can see, we're on the dummy load. And we have our antenna moved to where we want it to go. So we're just going to check to see if the radio works correctly. Right now I'm on 7170. I'm just going to hit a tune carrier on the dummy load to see if everything is working right. You see this tune right here. If I press it, I'm now transmitting. There's my carrier. That's a 10-watt carrier, as you can see. I'm transmitting 10-watt carrier. My SWR is really good. And also, since I'm on phone, it modulates the transmitter. If you don't have push to talk, you can always press this button here. And when you press this button here, you can see the modulation that the transmitter is making, and you can see the level here that's moving around in the compression level here at the bottom. When you click it again, it turns off push to talk. But I still strongly urge that you don't use this. I urge that you use the pickle that we're going to show you how to make. Anyway, we now see that our transmitter is working good, and that we're making audio. We're modulating pretty good. So I think we're ready to go on the air. Let's just choose 40 meters. So we're going to go over here. I'm on 40 meters here. Let's just use 20 meters since I'm on 40 here. So the first thing you do is you go to where your antenna switch is, and you choose the 20-meter antenna, which is this one right here. I click on it, and I'll just switch to that 20-meter antenna. Let's go on to number 1, and I have to change the band here, so I go to band, I put it on 20 meters, and you'll see some big signals. So here's all the signals. I'm on 14,165, so I'm going to grab, see this little triangle here? That's how you tune. You grab that, press on your left mic button, and you just drag it across the screen. And there's the audio. Let's listen to this guy. Now, if I want to fine-tune him, see I'm kind of close to him, but now right on him, I have my mouse wheel, and I turn my mouse wheel. And there he is on 14,178 exactly. Okay, so that's how you tune. You just use your mouse wheel to tune around. If you want to see what's more on the band, let me turn this down a little bit. Now, if you want to see what's on the band, you see these little buttons down here, plus and minus. Okay, you want to get closer and see what his. One of the bad things about owning a Flex is you get to criticize everybody else's crappy waveform audio. So you can make it big, so you can take a close look at at his crappy audio and tell him what it looks like. Let me just retune this back to 0. Now I have him 0 beat. And you notice that I'm on the 2.7, to take over here. I'm on the, let's see, I'm on the 2.7 filter, 2.7K filter. And he's wider than 2.7. So you can also come over here and widen your receive passband and tell this guy, oh my goodness, you're wide. You're, where is it? Right up here it says he is 3.4 kilocycles wide. That's kind of wide. So let me go back to 2.7 filter. And the nice thing about these is you can just click them. As you can see, they change shape. 1.8 for 2.5, 3.3 when the band is not crowded, all the way up to 6, which is like unneeded. So we'll go back down to 2.7, which is our standard. So there you go. I can make this bigger and smaller. I can go minus, so I can see more of the band and more signals. Yes, most of the band there, from the CW portion of the band up to the phone portion of the band, from basically 14 to 14.330 right here. And that's all the signals that are on the band. Here's the FT8 frequency right here, and you can see it here on the waterfall. So we'll make it a little bigger because I don't need to see all this kind of stuff. So that's about how I run it right there. So now let's just try transmitting here on the band. We make sure that we're on the correct antenna by making sure that we have a green on the antenna, and we come over here to our radio, and we're going to do a tuning cycle. So we're going to click on ATU, and I recommend every time you move frequency or change band, do an ATU cycle. Pay particular attention to the SWR on this radio. It's not, it is very picky about SWR, and it'll get you into trouble if you don't have a good SWR. So make sure you do. I click on auto tune. There it is. It tunes up, and let's just click on tune. And looks like we got below a little bit. There we go. We have a little bit above 1:1 SWR. Now you can see this is where I'm getting RF into the rig. We're going to work on that. See how it's high and then it'll go down. See how it goes down? Okay, there's an RF getting into the Ethernet, so we got to fix that, and we'll fix that eventually. But just be aware that that's why it does what it does. So now we've got we're ready to go, and if we would transmit by just clicking on turning on the automatic tuner, and it'll tune up. There we go, getting there. And we'll make sure we've got tuning. Hello. Oh, it was better without the tuner, so we're going to turn the tuner off and just hit tune. Hello, 1 2 1 2. There we go. So we're set to go here. And we would transmit. We would just click on MOX. Hello, 1 2 W4 Lima Tango test 1 2 3 4 W4 Lima Tango testing. And we just transmitted on the band. When we want to change bands, let's say we want to change to 40 meters. We come over here. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's calling me. Hold on a second. We'll do a QSO here. K4LAW, W4 Lima Tango returning. Very good. Hopefully you're hearing me in both places, but there you go. I'm working you through the flex system at the clubhouse. Over.
Listening to your video and doing all this other stuff as well. So I'm just trying to ignore the delay. K4LAW.
Yeah, there's massive delay. There's about a 1.5 second delay. All right, very good. So now we've worked BIF. So we're done with 20 meters. We want to go to 40 meters. So the first thing we do is we go over to our antenna switches, and we click on 40 meters. And then we go to our radio, and we go to band, and we click on 40 meters. And we're on 40 meters right now. Here's all the 40 meter signals. And again, we want to run a tuning cycle. So we come over here and we click on ATU, and then it does its tuning cycle. And there's our carrier. So we're good. We're good to go on 40. We tune in a signal, There's a signal tuned in. You want to make it a little bigger? So we can comment on his settings for his radios. He's a little bit wide as far as I'm concerned, above 2.7 kilohertz. He is basically 3 kilohertz, 3.1 kilohertz wide. And also you can adjust this by making it smaller and wider, and you can also grab the middle of it and change the IF frequency. By grabbing this side of it. Well, trust me, I don't quite have it. I can't do it with this particular mouse, but believe me, it does work. So it'll make it a little bigger right there, and that's it. So that's how that works. That's how it goes. Now we're done with our radio, so we want to turn off everything. So the first thing we would do is oh, I haven't shown you. This is how we're going to connect to N1MM. So I can make this a little smaller, and I'm going to open N1MM. Watch what happens. Well, I'm going to actually open my regular log, which is AC log. So let me go over here to AC log. I'm going to open AC log. There it is. Okay. Okay. I come over here. Oh, that's tough to do. There we go. That's better that way. I'll make it a little smaller so I can put it here. Make it a little smaller this way. It works better when you have multiple screens. So now we open the Smart SDR. Make it window variable. Let me move off of this frequency. You don't have to fight with him. Make that like that. Okay, and now I have my log, and notice it says 7170. I've already connected to this log using the CAT controller. The CAT right here, that's the port that I'm using to connect to this. There's virtual ports that go over the internet. Rig control port here that's set up to connect to here, and this is how I do my WSJT, and this is how I repeat my spots. I'm trying to keep this as succinct as possible. So now I'm just not going to worry about that. I don't need to see that. And when I move frequencies here, notice that it's going to lie to me and won't let me do it. Anyway, if this was working correctly, always happens with a demo. Let me see if I have the correct radio selected. Because I was using my K3 before. Edit, settings, rig interface, COM5. There we go. Pulling the rig. Okay, it's working now. Done. Okay, 7170. CAT. Well, I don't know why it's not working, but when you move this around, this will chase it. This will follow. The frequency will follow where you are. It's probably because I've got it hooked up with all this magic stuff that I've got. So anyway, we would take N1MM and we would run N1MM here as well. Let's try that just for grins. We're going to shut AC log down, and I'm going to open. Oh, it changed all my screens. Isn't that special? All right, let's see what I can find here. N1MM, where are you? N1MM. Let's change my. There it is. N1MM. I'm going to open up now. And it's going to be a mess. And I got a whole bunch of stuff open here. So it basically hides the radio. That's why you really need two monitors to do this with. Let's see what we have here. We have it 7170. So CAT. There's the radio running in the background. There it is. Move this over here. 7172, and it doesn't look like it's changing, so I got some kind of issue with my ports. It's probably because I'm doing this in a really strange way. So let me just put that there. Now let's close N1MM. Minimize that, maximize this, and we got our radio back up again. Now we're done. What we want to do is we want to shut down the radio. Easy thing to do. The first thing we do is we turn off the physical radio. So we come over here and we click on the X and it turns the radio off. So now the radio is turned off. The next thing we have to do is we have to make sure our antennas are pointed at 0. So we go over here to our second screen, or in your screen you would touch this again, and just punch up dummy load and just grab this antenna, and I usually like to leave it on north. That's a habit of mine, and I hope that everybody else follows this habit. So we all know that it's not doing what I want it to do. Stop. And there we go. Let's move it this way first, so it knows where it's at. You got to be careful with this because it doesn't really pay too close attention to the antenna the way we have it configured. So let me just do this and let it get to there. 280, that's close enough. Stop, grab it, turn it about here, see if it's going to turn the right way. And there it goes. Now it's turning the right way. So basically let's just make it go all the way around to, because we're going the right way, let's go around to the north. And away it goes. See, it's going to go to 5 degrees. And again, you can just turn this off. I'm just doing this to show you how it all works. You don't have to continue doing this. Once you close this program, it'll keep turning the antenna until because the server is actually running the antenna. There we go. We'll go to 0 here, to 3 degrees. Coming up. There she goes. Come on. Turn. I'll just press on turn. There you go. Let's see if it turns. There it goes. So there it goes. It's going to turn and go itself to 3 degrees. Once it gets to 3 degrees, we're going to close this application, and then we're going to turn off the radio. So we go. So it gets to 3 degrees. Once we get to 3 degrees, we'll shut this off here. Antennas turn really slow, huh? And here we go. It's on almost to 3 degrees, and 6 degrees, 4 degrees, 3 degrees. We're done. All right, now we're going to close the antenna panel. So we've got our dummy load selected. The only place you can close the green heron client is here on this red X. So we click that red X, and unfortunately on my computer I have it on the main screen. So you'll get this screen here. You hit OK, and that shuts them down. As you can see, I'll go to the second screen. See, they're gone now. So that means that that's turned off. The antennas are turned off. Now what we got to do is turn the power off. So in that case, we come over to the web client, and this could probably be gone because you've been operating for an hour. This will stay on for 20 minutes. We go to 4498.248.10:8086, or put that in the memory somewhere, and we type our password, and I've got mine set up to remember. So we click on that as my password, click on OK. And now you see we have the radio on and the antenna off, so we want to turn that off. So we click on switch off, bang, off it goes. I have to refresh. There it goes. Sometimes it doesn't refresh. And we go to the switch, the front panel off. It gives you a warning. So we switch the front panel off. There it's off. The radio is now off, and we're done. We close this, and that's it. That's the complete deal of using the Flex radio. So I'll open the floor for any questions while I'm fixing my computer screen here that pissed me off when it changed it. Okay, so go ahead. Whoever has a question, ask a question, see if I can answer it. By the way, you guys are muted, so I won't be. You gotta have to have somebody unmute you. No questions? Good Lord, did I do that good of a job? I don't think I did. Move all that stuff back. This is stuff from my own station here. So let me unshare my screen and let you guys ask questions. So I'm all yours. I don't see anybody asking questions. And I see all of you are muted. So if somebody could unmute you.
Hey, Lou? Hey, Lou? I can't hear you. Weird.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, can anybody hear me?
I can
Yes.
hear you. It's Dave. I can hear you.
Okay. Anyway, Lou, it was a great presentation. I have a quick question for you. This is Chris, NX4N.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, eventually the clubhouse is going to open again. So
Yes.
we had previous arrangements where remote station could be overridden and, you know, with a little courtesy notice and et cetera, leave the antennas as they are. Are you guys coming up with a method to do the same thing so that these antennas can be available for local use?
Yes. And you will be getting that in your email.
Okay.
You'll be able to reserve the clubhouse for specific, like for instance, you like to do sweepstakes and I like to do sweepstakes. So you'd reserve that weekend ahead of time. And that means you would have exclusive use of the facility for that time. Now, normal operation would be very simple. Anybody that's local to the clubhouse would take priority. Okay, if you're at the clubhouse, you got priority. What you would do then in that case is the antennas are color coded, and the patch panel has little pieces of tape on it. They're the same color that the cable has a piece of tape on it, a matching color. So let's say that you want to use the 40-meter antenna on TS590.
Okay.
When the flex is not operational, you know, you go up and you unscrew the at the patch panel, not at the antenna switch. At the patch panel, you would unscrew the 40-meter antenna, put the patch cable in there, and then run that patch cable to the TS590's antenna 1 input and operate. When you're
so
done,
kind of like what we did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of like what we
Yeah,
did. And you
just
put
like
it
what we
back
did
when you're
before.
done. Got it.
And you put it back when you're done. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's
And
the key. To put it back when you're done.
it sounds easy peasy. And we could still use the rotator control on each of the computers.
Correct.
There.
Eventually, right now it's only on the Flex client and on the position C computer, but
Okay.
I'll eventually get it to all the computers, and whenever you don't even need to be anywhere close to the RT21 box. It'll just come up on the
Okay. And
computer, and you just do what you want.
if we bring our own computer for our contest, we could work that out too.
If you have a Green Heron client loaded up, you open
Then
your
it's easy
computer
to
on
do.
our local network, you got connection.
Okay. And the last question, latency. You said it was 1.5 seconds. Is that normal?
Yeah, it's pretty wild for audio. Yeah,
Wow.
because remember all the things that radio has to do. So as far as latency is concerned, it's variable for the internet. If you're at the clubhouse and you're connected directly on our local network, it's almost none.
Okay.
But if you're at home, it depends on how fast your internet is, how many people are watching Netflix, how many kids are playing Doom, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
At
I
the
was just
clubhouse-
wondering for a, say, field day that you're planning on doing, if that isn't too much latency to really operate.
No, it really isn't, for a couple of reasons. First of all, don't pay attention to the radio's power meter when you're talking, because it's going to be behind what you're doing.
Got it.
Just use it as you normally would, because on your computer, you're living in the same time frame as your computer is. The radio is about a second, I'm not going to say a second and a half, but let's say about half a second late then from the moment you talk to the moment it comes out of the transmitter. See,
Okay.
that's what you can't really, if you want to watch the meter bounce to your modulation, Flex isn't for you. You just kind of like to, not pay attention.
I'm not worried
to
about that. I just basically you're in Flex world, and the delay is the delay, and it's fixed on both ends and both ways. And
It
have
is-
you tried
it
have you
is what it
tried
is.
CW with it?
Yeah, it works okay. I mean, the First Class Operators Club finds CW acceptable, so it works pretty good. Now, here's the key with CW. Right now, the only way to do CW is with the keyboard on the Flex.
Okay.
There's no way to do paddles. However, later on, like in phase 4 of this deployment, we're going to get some Win keys, and you're going to be required to have a Win keyer at home if you want to use CW with paddles.
Gotcha.
And we'll have another computer running the WinKey remote server, and you'll connect the WinKeys over the internet and be able to send using paddles that way.
Hey, this sounds so wonderful, and I just wanted to thank you for all the hard work.
That's been fun. I like doing integration.
Yes, you do. You have to. All right, I'm going to go on mute. Thanks again. Talk to you later, Lou.
No problem. No problem. Any other questions?
Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
I ran into a problem last night, which I ended up fixing, but down there on that little receiver panel is a little box with a number, which is basically the size of the step when you click the wheel. And if you get
That's
that
right.
number too big, you keep jumping over where you want to be. And somehow I got it too big, and then I had to go back and read the manual. But that's one thing to watch out for, that you want to keep that number in that little box. It says step, and you want to keep it probably around 10.
Yeah. 10 to 50. I normally use 50 because, you know, it's for phone, that's close enough. For CW, 10 is better. So yes, that's a good observation. Somebody asked how many bands are available. We've got currently 80 meters with the sloper. Of course, the sloper will work on 30 meters and the work bands, but let's not do the work bands for now. Let's just, phase 1 is just to get it running 80 through 10. So we got 80 meters, we got 20 meters, we got 15 meters, we got 10 meters.
And 40.
And 40. Yeah, 40 with a beam, the big C31 beam on the tower, on the back tower, and the sloper that's coming off the back tower. Those are the antennas that we have functional right now. Eventually,
we
we'll
have
get
6?
the south tower up and running. What's that? Yes, you also have 6. 6 is on antenna number 2. So you'd have to change the radio's antenna to number 2. But right now, for field day, let's concentrate on just the HF band. Let's not mess with 6. Well, that'll be later, which we'll get into 6. 6 is connected. 6 does work, but you currently can't turn the 6-meter antenna because I don't have that rotor integrated into the system yet.
Also, well, I was just going to make a comment, Lou, that it's at least my intention to make sure that we have what I call a native position for the Flex in the club, so you can use the club and use the Flex at the club without having to go over the internet, pay for headphones and all that kind of stuff. We'll probably set that up in position A because it's going to be closest to the radio. Because the experience with the Radio Direct is it's a more quality experience than it is with using it over the internet.
And also, even other than that particular native location, any computer in the building and even any computer outside, when we're doing a ham fest, basically, you can take your laptop outside, connect to the Wi-Fi at the clubhouse, and run the radio from the boneyard. Anywhere you got Wi-Fi that can connect to the radio, you can do it. Thinking it's in the local network, like that. When any computer that you bring in, for example, that has the Flex client and the Green Heron client in it, if you bring it in, you can sit at one of the tables in the classroom area or wherever in the middle of the place and run the radio from there. As long as you're on the local network, you can run the radio. Anything else? Come on, ask more questions.
Lou, there was a question about FT8.
Yes, FT8. Eventually we'll be able to use FT8. Now here's the cool thing about it. FT8, the FT8 client is going to run on your personal computer, and it's going to go to the radio over the internet using the digital audio exchange feature of Flex, which is DAX. I've been able to use my my Flex on FT8 without a problem that way, and it works really well. So FT8 will be able to be used remotely as well as locally at the clubhouse, or from anywhere that you have connectivity into the Flex system at the clubhouse. You can run digital modes. FT8, you can run RIDI, you can run slow scan TV, you can, 6 meter FM, your call.
Yeah, Lou, I did run FT8 from here. Joe Botto has written up on his blog a very good, very complete description of everything you need to do to set up FT8 on your computer to work with the Flex. And so basically you can sit at your home computer, WSJTX runs on your computer, and you just connect to the Flex, and it works just fine. We get heard all over the world.
So that's that. Anything else? Any other questions? Oh, for you Mac users out there, you need to get a Windows PC. Or you get a large tablet, like a iPad Pro. You can run it on there with a Mac client. There is a company called Dog Park Software that makes a logger, and Dog Park Software has written a sort of like Smart SDR on Mac. The negative of it is you can't really use SmartLink with it, because SmartLink runs only on PCs currently. So you can only use your Mac when you're local to the radio. So to use it remotely, you either need an iPad or an iPhone. Like I say, I have the application on my iPhone. That's not free. The Mac version is not free. It's $70. And other things like Voice Keyer and CW Keyer is $5 each extra. So that's not even written by Flex. It's written by somebody from Germany. So if you have a Mac, that's I think it's just easier for you to just get a PC and dedicate it to running the radio here. I don't know whether it runs on Boot Camp or Parallels or any of that stuff. I've not been able to see that. Something you can research on the web and get back to us and let us all know. What else? Any other questions?
Oh, a question from the chat. Does the Yamaha CM500 connect with a USB?
The Yamaha CM500 can be used in two ways. The one way that you can use it is if your computer has a microphone in and headset out, you can plug the microphone into your computer sound card and your headset into the computer sound card and use it that way. Another way of doing it is if your computer only has a single socket for it, there's these little widgets that, I have one, these little widgets that combine the headset and speaker into a 3-ring, 1-tip plug, and you can plug that into it and use your Yamaha CM500. Or the third way of doing it is just buy one of those $5 to $7 USB sound cards and plug the CM500 into the sound card, plug the sound card into a USB socket on your computer, and you're off and running. Anything else?
Yeah, Lou, notwithstanding Field Day, when do you anticipate this being available for members?
What I'd like to do is get this this issue with RF into the radio resolved before I let it out into the wild, and then we need to get a training platform done, because we really I'm not going to just throw you guys off the end of the pier and hope that you swim. We're going to have like a little training seminar it's a little deeper than what I did today, or you can watch the videos that are on YouTube about how to operate the rig. Joe Botto has told me he's going to work up a way to just make small, like minute and a half videos explaining single parts of it, and I'll probably end up doing those. Joe is a great resource because Joe basically is the pioneer that got all his arrows in the back. He actually ran the Florida QSO party, him and a guy from California, on my Flex when it was at the clubhouse, and on phone. So he's the guy you want to go to for phone. He built this little device that allows you to have a foot switch connected to the rig over the serial port, so you don't have to press on the MOX button on the screen. And he is he's also pioneered the FT8 application for it. And I actually followed his directions because I couldn't make it work because I didn't read the instructions. I'm stupid like that sometimes. If I would have read the instructions, I would have found out that you use the TS2000 protocol to control the Flex under WSJT. So that's why I couldn't make mine work. But he's figured all that stuff out, and he has a blog that we'll post on the website, that you can go to that blog and pick up the little tidbits that he has written up, and it's very well done. It's nicely illustrated and things like that. My job in this environment is going to be the chief engineer of this thing. I did the engineering of it. I kind of set it all up and make sure that it's running and that it's running correctly. I'm not going to be involved in scheduling or any stuff like that. I think that's going to be external to me. I'm not sure if Lee is going to be doing that as he's now currently doing with the Kenwood remote. I would also stress that there is nothing that says that we cannot continue to have the Kenwood remote on remote hams operational in addition to having this remote operational. It's just that you can't end up on the same band, and you'll know because your front end will get swamped. But the antennas are far enough apart that if you just notice it that there's somebody else on the frequency, just change the band and you should be okay. So we're not going to obsolete, as far as I know right now, there's no reason to obsolete the Kenwood remote. So we'll have the Kenwood remote that's a lot easier to work with, and this one that's a little harder to work with. So it'd be kind of like being a general and then moving to extra. You'd start with a Kenwood remote and move up to the Flex remote, and then you can have the use of both of them. Anything else? No more questions? Oh my God. I'm assuming that this is being recorded and it's going to be posted either on YouTube, our YouTube channel, or posted via some kind of connection to our webpage.
It will be put on YouTube.
Our Facebook group.
It's going to go on YouTube.
Okay. Excellent. So it'll go on YouTube, and you'll be able to review it at your own leisure. Plus, on YouTube, there's a plethora of here's how you use the Flex 6000 series transceivers. I encourage you strongly to watch those. I encourage you strongly to go to the Flex website and look at the videos that are on the website. There's some that are propaganda, but there's some that are quite good at explaining how the features on the rig works, and go from there. I don't have all the answers. I'm basically a maybe a little more advanced user than most of you guys are. I've only been operating these Flex rigs for about 3 months now, and I've gotten somewhat dangerous about it. So I can make it go, and I was dumb enough to be able to configure it and make it run at the clubhouse with what we have now. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if there's no more questions, I guess we can wrap this up.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah.
Couple of things. One, right now, the Kenwood remote is not operational, and it's been repurposed to become the second field day remote. It's set up for FT8 on 10 and 6 meters, so that way technicians can operate it without having to have somebody looking over their shoulder. It's up and running. I finished setting it up today. I'm going to burn it in for a couple of days to make sure I've found any hiccups before field day. Other thing is, as far as pulling antennas at the clubhouse, if you're coming in locally, eventually Joe Botto mentioned that we ought to set up Slack so that when you're going in the clubhouse, you just pull up Slack on your phone and you can send a note that you're going to be in the clubhouse and you're going to grab such and such an antenna. That way, if everybody's willing to use Slack, it makes life really easy because you know who's there, you know what antennas they're using, and you know when you're going to get in trouble because you're going to be on 20 while somebody else is on 20. Finally, the XR5 in the remote cabinet, the XR5 on the remote tower is not operational at the moment. We believe it needs a new balun, so we got to go up the tower to put a new balun on it. That's it there. As far as repurposing it back to being a basic remote, we can do that once we fix the XR5.
Very good. Anything else? Ask away. Now's the time.
Not on this end.
Just a commercial for the Tampa Amateur Radio Club. If this is of interest to you and you're not currently a member, you can join online at hamclub.org for $35 a year.
That's right. And lots of exciting things are happening with the Tampa Amateur Radio Club. Not only this, there are 3 repeaters and the clubhouse, et cetera, a bunch of pretty neat folks to associate with. And, come on over and go for it. The transceivers are top shelf, and I think we have probably a real world-class antenna system to the point that I was able to, thanks to the cooperation from the club, win the sweepstakes low power assisted from the clubhouse now twice. And that's the national win, #1 nationally on sweepstakes SSB low power assisted. So now I won it twice now from there, and that proves that station plays as well as anything else in the United States of America. Anything else? All right, then I guess we can wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. We're looking forward to using the system here and getting you guys involved in it. In the next couple of days, I'm going to come up with see if I can, make the darn thing not have RF in it. I think first thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bypass the UPS that is on it to see if the UPS is the issue. If that's not the issue, then I'm going to take it and change the power supply, because right now we have a switching power supply and it's sitting on top of the rig. So it may or may not be that the power supply is causing those issues. I've got Cat 7 shielded twisted pair on several of the connections. I have an older Netgear switch there that I need to change to a one that's a little bit better filtered that I have here to my left that I just found in one of my boxes. And I'll be bringing that over to the clubhouse here in the next few days. And that's it. My goal here is to get this thing running and operational as best as it can run, and then letting you guys have at it, because you would not believe it. Some of you have seen, when I turn the camera on, see what a mess my shack is from getting all this shit to work. I'd really like to get my station back up and running. So, there's more to my life than ham radio, but I really want to get my station back up and running correctly. And right now, it's a disaster. So that's what we have right now, and that's all there is. And again, thanks for watching, and thanks for giving a darn, and thanks for your membership that funds all this kind of stuff. Because without the members and the membership dues, we wouldn't have any of these tools, and we wouldn't have any free repeaters, and we wouldn't have tall towers and stuff like that. That's because of you that we have this kind of stuff. That's all I got.